It's 1:38 a.m. Time for Octoberpod.
Hello, Edward. I hope you and the missus are doing amazing. I have 2 Ouija board stories for you, and after I tell them, you'll know why I won't even go near one anymore. I've always been interested in the paranormal. In high school, we used to go ghost hunting and look for the disappearing house at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. We only saw floating white lights, but that's a different story, and my 2 Ouija stories are better. October 1985, DePaul University, Lincoln Park, Chicago. I was invited to a dorm room party. You know, one of those parties with maybe 1 bottle of cheap vodka for like 10 people crammed into a tiny dorm room. Well, then they pulled out a Ouija board, and me and Larry, we ended up becoming great friends, decided to play with it. It was crazy because we were getting it to answer our questions right away. Larry and I kept accusing each other of pushing the planchette. And to this day, I still think Larry might have been moving the planchette for a couple of those initial interactions. Then I asked the board if there was a deceased family member of anyone in the room. It pointed to yes. I asked for their name, and it spelled out L-E-O. This girl Marie was watching over our shoulders, and when the board spelled out this name, she screamed and ran out of the room. Somebody went looking for her and found her sobbing in the hallway. We later found out from Marie's roommate that she had a brother named Leo who had died from leukemia when he was 6. Larry and I met again the following weekend. This time it was at my apartment. A few people who were at the dorm party and a handful of others showed up. We were running the board again, and someone had the brilliant idea of going to Graceland to do it. Graceland is an amazing historical cemetery in Chicago at Clark and Irving. It's not too far from DePaul. Anyway, we piled into a couple of cars and drove around Graceland, but there was no way to get in. Then we drove past Wunder, the cemetery across the street, and the front chain link fence had a lot of panels missing, so we parked and went in there. It was about 9:30 in the evening, but the city never truly gets dark because of all the light pollution from street lamps, lighted alleys, and illuminated signs. We walked a little bit to get away from the noise of Clark Street and found a nice secluded spot. Larry and I sat down with the board on our knees between us, and everyone else was in a half circle around us. There was a headstone to my right and one to Larry's left. The group took turns asking questions, but no dice. Nothing. So I said, "Hey, we are in a German cemetery. Can anyone speak German?" And this guy Bob said that he knew some German, and so he started asking the questions. And at this point, the planchette started going around in circles. Then, for some reason, I can't fully remember, it was so long ago, we switched back to English, and every question was answered with no. Very hard, very fast, like an instantaneous zoom to no. I then asked, "Are we safe here?" The planchette rose up about 2 feet off the board in a vertical position, spun around a few times, and then shot off to my right between the headstones. Everybody ran. And that was my very last Ouija experience.
Hey Milton.
Hey Bailey.
What's your favorite cryptid?
Oh, that's easy. It's the Mothman. He just shows up, warns you of danger, and then just leaves. It's literally me at any party. What about you?
My favorite is Bigfoot. She's real hard to track down, and much like me during quarantine, she's real hairy.
If you love all things strange and obscure, then you will love the Happily Ever Haunted podcast. My wife, Bailey,
and my husband, Milton, cover all things paranormal and beyond in a fun and entertaining way.
You can find our podcast on your favorite podcast app this July.
And remember, those that haunt together, stay together.
On the next Octoberpod, Trick or Treat Trail.